Hello all and welcome to this Baldur's Gate 3 balanced bard multi-class run through / playthrough. I'm going to be going through everything I do to help those that may not be used to the game or just want a little bit of helping hand or are following through the adventures with their own characters. Now this episode is purely going to be about classes, and we're going to set up our party for the rest of Act 1 into Act 2 and then throughout Act 2, etc. So we're going to change. All 7 characters are going to get their Respecs. Some of them is just going to be attribute points because the way their default attributes are suck. And a lot of people don't know that you can respec the origin characters or how to do it. So we're going to go through all of that. If you want to skip this episode though, that's fine. I'll see you in the next episode where we actually start playing the game again. But you'll miss the conversation of classes, the reason why I've taken those classes, the reason why I've taken the stats. So at level 4 is when I first start using the respec and start talking to withers. So in order to prep for all of that, we need to take all the equipment off of the characters. And what I've done off recording is all I've done is I've moved everyone's underwear around, and I've sent each character the dye that I like using for that character. That way it's more easy to track how much dye I have and whether I need to buy any more. So because of that, as I go through, I'll show you what people are wearing and what colours and stuff. So let's get on to it. The first thing we're going to do is going to go into the character sheet and send a lot of stuff to camp. Regardless, the avatar is the only one that doesn't send everything to camp because it doesn't change. This is a pale orange dye. I don't use pale orange, so I've marked it on wares, and the avatar is going to keep it. Pretty much a lot of other stuff though is going to go. Get Astarion doesn't have a torch if I remember rightly, so he'll get a torch. And everything else we are going to keep on us. We need that. Potions will go. I've just had an email come through on my phone. I'm just having a quick check of that right now. I'll just mute the mic while I deal with that email, and I'll come right back. Sorry, that was quite an important email I just had to deal with. Right, so yeah, most of this stuff on the avatar stays, including the gold. We will split down the scrolls of Revivify. If you're following along, then we just don't need them, because I'll go through all the combat, etc. We see how to defeat all of the fights with relative ease unless something very untoward happens. I mean, RNG can come along and bite in the butt. So it's also about trying to keep the weight limit down. So that's the avatar done. The avatar is sporting her own underwear in the colour yellow. So let's go down to Karlach. Empty everything off of Karlach. She is sporting Shadowheart's underwear in blue. She'll keep on her barb clothing because we don't have another clothing that she can wear, and Karlach does remain, oops, wrong button, a part of our team throughout the gameplay. I could multi-select this, I just don't want to. So the only thing everyone should have is a torch, their underwear, and their dye if they've got one. So Lizelle has got green dye, and she is in the DLC Periwinkle undergarments. Depending on what level of game you brought, depends whether you have access to these or not. Alright, down to the next one, which is the Astarion. The Goldroll Centre Camp as well. And the antidote. He doesn't have an alchemy pouch. That's weird. Hello, Scratch. Literally everything goes. And then, so Astarion's dye colour is actually orange. He looks very fetching in orange once you get all his gear set up. But the underwear, which is Lazelle's, he wears in blue. So now we go to Shadowheart. Shadowheart is wearing Astarion's underwear in the default colour of blue. I don't think she's got any gear. She's got gear, so we just send that to camp. Boom. And she'll keep the Book of the Dead Gods. I don't know why, I just like keeping it on her. Don't know. And then obviously the mysterious artifact, as with patch point 6, you can't do anything with it. She keeps that. Now with Gale, again the revivification scroll goes, the quarterstaff goes, the simple robe goes, leaving him in again a set of DLC underwear. We haven't dyed it yet because we can't dye it until he's in the party. Wyll, unfortunately, I think I've covered this in previously, I don't like the Warlock class, and I prefer his storyline from early access. There may be a few videos around from people that were covering it, such as Wolfart FPS. He did a lot of early access videos. So you may be able to pick up Wyll's original storyline from there, and in my opinion, it was a lot better. I get why they changed it, but I don't like it. So unfortunately, Wyll does not play a big part in most of my gameplay. Right, now we've done all of that, we do need to make sure that people got out packs. I'm not sure what happened here. So I need one for Astarion, Lazelle and Karlach. Right, let's see if we've got them in here. Hopefully we have. Right, there's one for Karlach. Send that off. There's one for Lazelle. We are going to open this and send that to send it to Karlach, and then hopefully I can send it off. And where's that pouch gone? It should have just sent the herb. There we go. And then we'll send that to Astarion, so he's got an out pouch. Now I have to press the right buttons. There we go. We should be able to. There it is. There it is. We should be able to send that now to Juliet. There we go. Let's stop pressing the wrong buttons. We then open up the out pouch, hit the button, and pop that inside there. There we go. That's all done. Right, now we're going to kick out people ready to respec. We keep Karlak in our team, so we're going to kick her out. She's not going to be happy about it.
Soldier.
Some of the characters will have extensive chats, and we will come back to that
come on.
a little bit later in the video.
That? Oh, fine.
There we go. So there goes Karlak. Astarion will stay in because he's not going to feature in the party. We're going to get rid of Lizelle temporarily because, again, she becomes part of our team.
Chuck, you believe you, as you say.
There we go. So, next we're going to go and talk to Wyll and get him in our party.
Karlak's all fire and fury. I pray to the Triad it doesn't consume her. That's the spirit.
Alright, so we'll get through. And now, again, not a lot of people know this, but the level up and XP is tied to the avatar. So if the avatar levels up and your companions don't, if you're in a place where you can kick your companion out of your party there and then once they've walked off screen, you can then go to camp, you'll find them in camp, re-invite them, and they'll level up too.
Karlak's something the matter?
Not really. Join me, Shadowheart.
Some company wouldn't hurt on the road, especially if there's trouble.
Boom. There we go. Right, now we've got all our three members. Our first three members we're going to respec. I'm just going to flick over to my spreadsheet. Look at the screen. Hold on, I've got to make sure. Right, so I haven't actually planned this build out for Astarion yet, but I know what I'm going to do with it. We're going to go and speak to Withers, or Bone Daddy, as his nickname is. So we'll take Astarion over there.
Ah, another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
So we're just going to go straight down to number 4. You can go through all of these options if you want to, but every single character other than the avatar will have similar options. So we're just going to go straight to can you help me change my class?
As thou desire.
And this is why we need to make sure we've got plenty of gold on hand, because we are actually going to be spending a fair few amount of it on the characters today. So the first thing we are going to do with Astarion is we're going to set him up. We're going to go Ranger first because his the hit points for the fighters are higher than a rogue. So we're going to go Ranger. Again, if I press the right button. We are going to go down to Sanctified Stalker to get the Sacred Flame, and the religion is whatever. We're going to go always take fire. Later on you could go poison because poison's more prevalent, but overall fire is the better one to have. Now we're going to take all of the stats down, all of them down to 8 to give us a nice base chance. There we go. So the first thing is, yes, we are going to be a dex-based character now. Although we are looking to be a ranger, we are not going to be casting that many spells. So wisdom isn't a great thing for us to have. However, Constitution is, because it gives us more hit points. So we're going to bump our dexterity up to 16. We're going to bump our Constitution up to 16. We are going to put a couple of points into wisdom. Now we've got, as you can see up there, 9 points left. 27 minus 18 is 9. So we're going to put a little bit more in wisdom. We're going to bump up the intelligence, take off the -1 modifier. Same for the charisma, and the rest is going to go into strength. So what I'm actually going to do now is take down the charisma because I don't think it's worth it on a character that isn't the avatar. we're going to put strength up a little bit more, and that is solely for the carrying capacity. As you can see there, also depends how far you can jump and how much you can carry, which is quite important for the type of character we're going to be playing, is carrying ability. I do like to be able to carry a ton of loot, and if you've watched the previous episodes in this playthrough, you'll know that I do tend to carry a ton of loot. So with that in mind, we are going to move on. Now what we actually need here is we do need a plus stealth modifier, but we'll get that from the next character. We're going to go down here. We're going to take the survival one. We don't have access to perception, which is the other good one to have. So we're probably actually just going to go and have a look at what else we can have. We're going to have athletics, which allows us to help shove and resist shoves. I don't like the shove mechanic. A lot of people do, but you lose out on loot, and I don't like that. So we're going to take athletics. Stealth we're going to get in the next level, so that we don't need that here. After that, it is your choice. Our avatar has got animal speech, so you don't need animal handling. Insight could be a nice one. You could do nature. I've not come across a lot of nature checks really, other than the one right on, if you go back to episode 1, I believe. And investigation, I've not come across any of that, so I'm probably just going to go insight here. And that's it. We just do the confirm, because you can't change the name on the origin characters. Now, we're not going to level the Starion up yet. We'll do it all in one long stride. So we're going to go to Wyll. Or we're There we go. You have that little bit there. This is why I pick up Wyll, but kick him out before I go to Karlach, because it's a lot easier to do that bit there.
Ah, another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
I just like Withers' voice. Every time I get to a character and he does that little speech, I take a drink.
As thou desire.
So, with Wyll, I just prefer to keep him as a warlock. There is maybe 1 or 2 bits I might take him. So we're just going to spec him out as a warlock for now, level 4 warlock. So we're just going to do that. We take Eldritch Blast because it is the most powerfulest cantrip in the game if you spec it right. We're going to take Mage Hand. We're going to go for the Fiend because it's the best out of the 3. We're going to drop Armour of Agathith because you shouldn't be getting hit. So we'll take Hex here, and we'll take Arms of Hadar. Stat-wise, we don't need Intelligence as a Warlock. We don't need Wisdom as a Warlock. Warlock runs off of Charisma. We're just going to drop that down to 16. We are going to put his Dexterity up because we do want him to go a little bit fast. And we're going to take our Constitution to 14 because you can't get 3 16s. It won't let you do it. Whoop. So we're just going to take Constitution to 14, which helps out with his concentration of his spells. We've got 4 points left, so at this point we'll take a little bit more in Wisdom to get rid of that -1 modifier, and then a little bit more Strength. You know why. Carrying capacity. On to next then. Let's have a look. We'll just take Arcana off. He's only got 2 proficiencies. I want to see what he's got access to. We don't want Intimidation. What we're after really is Survival and Perception on all the characters if they have access to it. Intimidation and Deception are completely pointless because as of patch 6, all the talking is done by the avatar. We can't get Perception or Survival because we want Perception for those traps and Survival for the dirt mound. So then we're looking at other things. They're all -1s because they're intelligence based. We've got nothing intelligence. We don't have access to athletics or acrobatics. So we are just going to go for a little bit of religion and arcana. It really doesn't matter on these when you get that. If you can't get perception, survival, athletics, acrobatics, after that it's a bit meh, in my opinion. So now we've done Wyll, we're going to go into Shadowheart. Now Shadowheart is, we do use Shadowheart. We run Shadowheart through the entirety of Act 2. So by the time we get to use her, she's going to be about level 7.
Thy name has been recorded.
And because of that, we've actually got a build
I shall
for her.
be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Whoops, hold on.
As thou desire.
So, what we start off, I'm actually following a build guide for this one, and the build guides I'm using will be linked in the description below, so you can have a look at them. Now, there are loads of content creators for Baldur's Gate 3. There are tons and tons of builds for characters and origin characters, covering all sorts of classes, all sorts of multi-class builds. So the people in the description that I'm following the build guide from is the ones I prefer for a number of reasons. Yeah, that's all I really need to explain, really. So with Shadowheart, we are basing this off of a Spirit Guardian Cleric Paladin build. But what we do first is we actually put one level in Sorcerer, because Sorcerer gets a base chance of Constitution proficiency bonus, and as they level up that gets better, which means that the chances of us losing concentration are less because we have a better proficiency Constitution bonus. So we'll start off with the cantrips. We're going to go with Firebolt. Why? Because it's awesome, but we've already got it because it comes up with a little warning, so we'll take that off. So what we'll do here is we're actually going to take Ray of Frost to reduce the movement. That's quite a nice one. Shocking Grasp, because if someone walks away, we get the ability to do Shocking Grasp on them. And as you can see, if we cast Shocking Grasp, they don't get a reaction, which means we can then walk away without getting hit by an attack of opportunity. After that, we go for Bone Chill to prevent healing on certain characters, and then finally we are looking at personal preference. So I'm probably just going to go for Mage Hand again. It's quite a nice one. I don't care for Minor Illusion. I have used it in the past. It's a bit iffy, but Mage Hand is quite a good one, so we're going to do that. For our actual spells, we're going to go for Magic Missile, because it's quite a nice multicast spell, and we're going to go for Shield because it's a reaction that can increase your armor class by 5 if you if you get hit, which means you might not be hit and the critical hit may turn into attack hit. So I've just had a delivery come through. Hold on, I'll just go and sort that out. Aha! The new cat food is here for our cats. Keep them nice and healthy. Awesome. Some of them have got, one of them's got a bit of a health issue, so we've had to change the food. So we've ordered some nice food for them. Okay, so where are we getting to? Yeah, so Shield is pretty good, and Magic Missile is quite a nice staple spell. Let's just click on the game again so the controls actually work. Move on to the next bit. We go for Storm Sorcery. And the reason why is after you cast a level 1 spell or higher, you can fly as a bonus action until your turn without receiving opportunity attacks. So the idea is we cast a level 1 cantrip, such as Healing Word, and then we we can fly and then cast Spirit Guardians and do a ton of damage. So our stats are going to be based around that class. So we're just going to take everything down to 8 again, like I normally do. It just gives us a nice base here. Right, and the first thing we need to do is change our stats. So these stats are based for our long-term build. And of course the game defaults to the character class you have chosen, which is not always the best thing. We're going to keep Constitution again because it helps with our concentration spells. So our strength needs to go all the way up to 16 with that +2. We keep our deck. We're going to put our hold on, I just do we keep our decks or do I need to? There's an item that's going to come up later in the game, and I don't know who needs to wear it. So I'm just having a look to see who needs it. Right, none of the end game builds I need have claimed it yet. Okay. So I'm actually going to leave the dexterity down to 8. The guide says different, but I have reasons. Now Constitution goes up to 16 with the 15 with the +1 makes it 16. We're going to put our wisdom up to 12, which leaves us a few points left over because we're not putting anything into dex. So I'm going to actually spend some points in intelligence and charisma just to get that -1 off, which leaves us 5 points left over. So we're actually going to put our wisdom up a little bit more. Why is dexterity? That should be strength. That's better. I'm going to put 2 in dex because I just don't know where else to put them really. Actually I could put them in intelligence maybe? For skills? I've thrown myself out because of the dexterity score. No, I'm not going to ad hoc it. I'm going to follow the guide, and the guide says we need a dex of 14. So I'm just going to do that. So there we go. That suits out 16, 14, 16, 8, 12, 8. I'm not going to ad hoc it on the fly. I may come back off. I might do some investigation work and then change her off screen, but if I do that I'll let you know. So again, Arcana, we take off Arcana, take off Persuasion. The only problem is we can't get access to Perception and Survival again, or Athletics and Aerobic Acrobatics, because we are starting off as a sorcerer, so it's based on there. Very limited. We might as well take Arcana and Persuasion, just because they're the best options out the ones she's got. Right, so now we've got all of our characters' base classes and attributes done. We'll then level all 3 of them up in one go. So we do Astarion first. He would be a ranger. What we want is Enhanced Leap and Fog Cloud. No, we don't. We want Hunter's Mark. The reason we go for Enhanced Leap is because it's very handy to have by tripling your character's distance and it's a ritual spell. It doesn't say it's a ritual spell, but it is. I think, pretty sure. Maybe it's not. Long Stride is a ritual spell, and it doesn't say ritual on it. So I'm pretty sure Enhanced Leap is a ritual spell, which means we can cast it as many times as we like without it costing us a spell slot. Hunter's Mark just means that if he attacks the creature that's marked, it does an additional 1d6 damage, which is great. And if it dies, he can then recast it without casting the spell again. It's a free cast, as long as he maintains his concentration. Excuse me. Now we've got 2 choices here. You can either go for the Archie for the +2 bonus to ranged weapon attacks, or alternatively you can go for the 2 weapon fighting, which means you can add your ability modifier to the damage of your offhand weapon. Now we are going to be using 2 hand crossbows, which means the damage from this would be really good, but the damage from our proficiency, which is going to be dexterity, is better because it's already at a +3 for 16 and it'll be going up to +4. So we actually want 2 weapon fighting, so our offhand will actually get that proficiency modifier to the damage. So I'm actually going to go for that. So now going to ranger level 3. And this is where we change slightly. Oh, I've done that wrong, haven't I? I've done that wrong. Have I done it wrong? Yeah, I've done this wrong. I have done this wrong. Whoopsie daisy. Right, so we've got to go and respec us down again because I messed up. It happens sometimes.
Fate dost thou require, and as thou...
Still going to start off as a ranger. Everything's the same here. Fire's correct. The attributes have reset themselves. Why is that on a... There we go. That's better. Glad I checked that actually. Yeah, that's better. Athletics, insight, survival, because we don't get perception. That's it. Yep, that's fine. Right, let's start that again, shall we? Nothing to see here. Move along, move along. Right, what we should have done here is add class, and we actually need to go into our rogue straight away, which means you get all sorts of lovely benefits like stealth, because we need stealth. We don't need sleight of hand, we need stealth. We come all the way down here. We don't have access to survival or perception, which is not too bad, and we've only actually got 1 skill as well, which is a bit odd. That's fine. We do get expertise, so we're going to go for stealth, and we're going to go for... Let's see what else have we've got. No, not insight. Perception to help out with those traps, etc. There we go. And now it's all rogue. So this is the problem a lot of people fall into. Some of the subclasses default. This defaults to Arcane Trickster. It's easier on controller because you can see the other classes there, but on mouse keyboard it's not that easy, which is why a lot of people new to the D&D genre and BG3 don't realise you can actually change their class. So we actually want Thief because you get fast hands, which is additional bonus action, and you get resistance to falling damage, which is amazing. That's our 4 levels done with Astarion. He didn't get a feat because we went 1 and 3 because we want the health benefits from the Ranger. The next level for him, level 5, character level 5, will go into Rogue and we'll get a +2 dexterity ability improvement feat, and then we'll go on from there. But you'll see that when we get to the section where I start using Astarion, which is why we've geared him that particular way. So with Wyll, we then get into new spells here. It really doesn't matter what we take. We're just going to go Armour of Agathith again. For our Eldritch Invocations, we're going to take Armour of Shadows because it's Mage Armour. It doesn't require a spell slot like Armour of Agathith does, and it gives you a decent armour class as long as you don't wear armour. There's so much non-armour in the game that you can get Wyll up to a ridiculously high armour class without having to bother really much to thinking about it. You just pick up the gear that's designed for a Warlock. Most of it is clothing anyway, so not only that, Armour of Agathith really to work requires you to be hit the way I'm building Wyll, he shouldn't be hit. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go all the way down and get Repelling Blast. We don't have anything yet to do. We'll come back to replace spell in a minute, so we'll level up. Skip the level up animation by pressing A into Warlock level 3. Here we pick up Scorching Ray. We'll go Pact of a Chain because it's the best one for the build we want. We want that little imp. We take out Armour of Agathith. I'm probably not saying that quickly. And we put in Misty Step. Skip the animation again. We get a new cantrip here, and I suggest taking Minor Illusion. And we get a new spell here, at which point we take Confusion. No, that's not Confusion, that's Enthrall. What do I take here? Hold Personage can be good, or Darkness can be good. It's entirely your choice. Both of them require concentration, which means it's going to knock off your Hex, which is a bit of a problem. So does Cloud of Daggers. Blindness doesn't require concentration, so we're just going to take that for now. Skip that bit. We get an ability improvement straight away here, and we're going for Charisma. Boom. Put our Charisma 18 up, because that is our main stat as a Warlock. Automatically slip into Shadowheart's leveling up process. It's going to default to Sorcerer level 2. We don't want that, so we then add another class, and we look for the class. There it is, Cleric. So, take out all of that. We want a Guidance, we want Resist, and we actually want Sacred Flame to give us an that advantage there. We don't go Trickery Domain, we go War Cleric. There we go, War Domain. And then we take off those two, we go Guiding Bolt and Healing Word. Now with all of the next levels for Shadowheart go into Cleric, because we're now looking to get up to... Whoops, no, I did take off the right one. Okay. I take Sanctuary here. No, don't. We take Command. Yeah. We take Command because it helps us a little bit control on the battlefield, making someone drop their weapon or run away and all that kind of good stuff. Keep taking out Cure Wounds simply because it requires an action. Now here you've got choices. You can take Enhance Ability if you want help with your chatting, like your RP choices, to get advantage in the ability checks, or alternatively here you can take Lesser Restoration, which as you can see removes a disease, poison, paralysis or blindness. I'm actually going to go for Lesser Restoration as the additional spell. I'm going to remove Command, and then I'm going to take Prayer of Healing as well. So as you can see, most of it's set up as a bit of a healing / support bit, with Guiding Bolt as our big boom spell. We don't get a feat on Shadowheart either, because she's 1 level into Sorcerer and then 3 levels into Cleric. So at this point we go back to the avatar, and then Astarion will slowly walk back. Now we've done these 3 characters, we're actually going to kick Shadowheart out.
Something the matter? If you're sure.
See you in Act 2, love.
Fine. I'll be here.
Bye bye. We'll go down. We'll kick Astarion out as we walk past. Sorry, Astarion.
Yes?
See you in Act 2. No, later in Act 1 actually.
Oh, darling, I'm hurt.
Sorry, buddy.
It sounds awful.
I know it does. And Wyll is likely not to be in our party ever again.
Well met. Are you sure? The blade and just...
Right, now I've got to talk to Gale. I'm not sure what his issue is, but we do need an item. It looks like he needs to feed again. Now I'm pretty sure I've given him the 3 items already, which are the Fleet Finger gloves, the colour spray ring, and the amulet reward we get from Arabella. I did have a quick check before recording this episode because I realised that we didn't have the required items, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm not sure what I did with it. So we're actually just going to give him the cap of curing here, which is a bardic thing which I never use because the helm of intellect is so much better. We're also going to pick up Karlach on the way because she's going to be in our party. Are you ready? Come on, we're heading out.
Let's go, go, go.
Ah, it's changed. She usually says something else. That's fine. We're going to pick up Laser Earl as well.
Speak. It is done.
There we go. And now I'll go and get Gale. Poor Gale.
My condition likes being ignored as little as I do. I must consume another artifact. And soon.
Munch.
Thank you. Good gods. It hardly has any effect. Oh, Mistra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent.
Right, this speech is quite long and in depth, so I'll leave the speech on for a few seconds and then I'm just going to skip through it because otherwise we're going to be here for the next 10-15 minutes. If you want to see all the options, what I choose and what it's exactly said, you'll need to slow this right down and or pause. Go on, you're among friends, option
Might just be
1.
about to remedy. You have to know who I was, what I am, and what one might call a wizard. Such was my skill that it earned. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher.
Are you telling me you made love to
In time,
goddess?
Oh yes. We enjoyed each other's company. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard, Mistra keeps us in check. I sought to cross her boundaries. I tried to convince her. Inconceivable as it seems to me, we come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it? Very well. Once upon a very long... I'll save his history for another time. You almost managed, but not quite. The magic that was unleashed that day was... Even the weave itself could not withstand the odds. She restored the weave. What if? I thought. What if? The answer was to try. I was certain that this deed... I was mistaken. I obtained the... Here. Place your hand over...
You feel the tadpole quiver into the dark. You see through Gale. Inside there are no pages.
Its teeth, its claws. It's unstoppable as it digs through and becomes...
Thankfully, the moment I absorb... this netherese blight. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, I will erupt. I don't know the exact... It'd level a city the size of Waterdeep. You might chance upon a king's collection. All of this. It must feel like a betrayal. That is... You truly are a soul that steals my own. I thank you all. I understand if I stand at a precipice. Now. Even...
Right, now you can understand why it takes a little bit of time to get through. Even just clicking through it that quickly was a few minutes.
What's on your mind?
Which now means we can actually talk to him and he would get to join us as well. So he'll level up to level 4. So we're going to go to Karlach now. And we're going to respec Karlach. This is mainly an attribute change more than anything else. I'll get her spec up on while with his chats.
Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services. As thou desire.
Excuse me. Right, we're going to get up to some shenanigans with Karlach, a bit like we did with Shadowheart. Oh, excuse me, I got burps from the soda. We're going to start off as a barbarian, and we're going to spec into our main class. So first thing we need to do is actually change our +2 bonus. That's going into Constitution, so we need to change our +1 to Dexterity, which then allows us to change our Strength to bonus to Constitution. We're going to drop all her Strength down to 8. We're going to pop her Dexterity up to 16. Her Constitution remains at 16. Her Intelligence goes to 10 because we've got spare points. Charisma goes down to 8 because it's completely irrelevant with patch 0.6. And we're going to pop her Wisdom up to 14. And we've got a couple of points left over. So probably just put those in Charisma. Get rid of that -1 from having an 8. We're not bothered about having our Strength solo because I'll show you why later on in the video when we get to gearing section. So for now we've got our attributes correct. We're going to go into here. I've already marked down where we're going with her proficiencies. So we need to take this out and this out. Actually, no, this is wrong. We do actually need intimidation for one specific quest. Nature is irrelevant. That's Karlach done for now. Switch to our girl Lae'zel. Lae'zel has probably the most dramatic change, and the reason we're doing the dramatic change class on Lae'zel.
Ah, another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
The reason we go with Lae'zel to a dramatic change is because her personal plotline is not linked to her class. So we can pretty much do whatever we want. So we go from being a uber fighter to being a godlike monk. And it actually suits because later on in this playthrough you'll see why monk fits a Githyanki. So with that in mind, we're going to switch over to her build on my spreadsheet on another screen. There we go. And we'll take her strength down to 8, her dexterity down 1, her 50 constitution is not where we want to put that. We want that in wisdom, but we still put her constitution up to 15. Intelligence stays at 8. Charisma goes down to 8, and then we put her wisdom up to 16, which means we've got points left over. So we'll probably just take it out of intelligence and get rid of that -1. If you weren't aware, if you go down to down 8, you can see that the intelligence checks modifier goes down. So the more points you have in a stat, it changes your modifier or your proficiency check. So with this, we actually get 0 to our intelligence checks, and but if you look at the dexterity, we've got +3. You only get the additional plus on even numbers. So if you look at constitution here, if we go down to 14, it's +2. Go up to 15, it's still +2. So this is why I spec all the attributes like I do, and for most of the origin characters we just even them off, because having a stat at 17, 13 or 15 is completely pointless. For her proficiencies we go acrobatics and I've lost it. Stealth. It's not an alphabetical order. That's right. There we go. And that's Lae'zel done. Right, and then finally we get to Mr. Wizard himself, our faithful friend Gale. One of the most powerful single class builds in the game, late game.
Ah, another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Okay, again go down to change the class. And again, this is more about an attribute change than an actual class change. We leave Gale pretty much as a wizard for most of the game. Cantrip wise, we go Firebolt, we go Minor Illusion, no we don't, sorry, my bad, we go Ray of Frost and Shocking Grasp. We get rid of all the spells out the book straight away. We then go for Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Chromatic Orb, Enhanced Leap, Shield, and Ice Knife. Now these are just the spells that Gale knows. It doesn't mean to say all of these spells are going to be available to cast. So what we're doing here is picking spells that we want in his repertoire for the game. Now Gale has the unique ability, wizards and warlocks have the ability to learn spells from scrolls at a cost of gold, which is another reason why we want to be looting a lot. Because if you want to increase Gale's repertoire of spells he has, you need to be finding or buying scrolls for him to then learn from. So this is why we choose these spells. Stat wise, again we're looking at 8s everywhere. We do actually want intelligence, but we don't want constitution, we actually want dexterity. The reason we want dexterity is because it says here agility reflects his balance, affects your efficiency with ranged weapons and finesse weapons. Also affects your initiative and armor class. So that's a big point for a wizard. So we actually want his dexterity up to 16. We're going to leave his constitution at 14 because you simply can't have 3 16s. So we go for dexterity at 16 for the initiative and armor class. We have a constitution of 14 for the hit points, and then we have intelligence of 16 because he's a wizard and needs 16. That leaves us 4 points. Now, I'd like to put a couple points in wisdom, because a lot of proficiency checks come under wisdom, such as perception and survival. And then we are going to put 2 points in strength, because sometimes Gale gets in a little bit of combat, or because he's a wizard, people will pick on him and get close to him and try and shove him. So we don't want minuses to that roll. So we'll just even it out at 10. As for his abilities, we don't want investigation, we don't want insight. We want to see if he doesn't have access to either, which is annoying. Do we get survival or perception? Nope. Okay. Medicine we'll have, and religion we'll have. I think no particular reason. There we go. Right, that's it done. And then lastly, excuse me, we'll get our avatar done.
Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead? As thou desire.
Now, if you remember, our avatar was actually a ranger level 1 and then 3 levels in bard. We actually go full bard now. We go full bard, and I bring up my build notes here on a spreadsheet we got on another one. We take off that, we actually pick up friends and mage hand, lots of mage hand, simply because the other cantrips I either don't like or they're not worth casting. We get rid of all of the spells there, and we take Speak with Animals, Longstrider, Featherfall, and Healing Word. So, Speak with Animals is a ritual spell, which means it doesn't require a spell slot, and it allows us to tilt to beasts without potion use. Featherfall, again, another ritual spell which allows us to immunity to falling damage, which we need quite a lot. We take Healing Word because that procs our Bless from our Whispering Promise Ring, which we'll be wearing. And then we take Longstrider because you always want Longstrider, because it increases the movement speed by 3 meters. Now, I don't know what country you could be in watching this. The understanding between feet, meters, yards, and all the different measurements for this game, in my opinion, is completely irrelevant. The reason I go into meters is because it's easier to read how much distance you have, and jump requires 3 meters for you to activate. I don't know what the feat is in the game, but it requires 3 meters for a jump, and it's a lot easier to track that than to try and track the feet. So the comprehension of it is irrelevant. I am used to dealing in yards and feet and inches, but for Baldur's Gate 3 I do everything in meters because it's just easier when you're looking at calculations to see where you can go. And I need 3 meters to jump. This says it can travel that many meters, and you can plan it out. It's so much easier, or in my opinion, it's so much easier. You do you. Here we're going to go to our drum, because I very rarely use drum. I usually end up with flute or violin, so for this playthrough we're going to go with something different. Stat wise, let's have a look. I've got all the bonuses up here. We go down to, we need charisma. Right, okay, we actually need to change around this stuff. So we're going to take charisma. We're just going to shoot charisma to strength for a minute. And we're going to take dexterity to charisma. And then we're going to go take strength to dex. We want a charisma of 16. We want wisdom of 10. Intelligence, we've got our helm. That gives us intelligence 17. So intelligence 8 is irrelevant. Constitution, we want up 1 to 14, which then allows us to pop our dexterity up to 16 and then 17. The reason that is because we get an item later on that gives us +1, and then we get an ability improvement, get +2, which means we'll have a dexterity of 20 not before too long, which, as you can see, gives us all sorts of lovely benefits. And as a ranged / finesse weapon user, we want an extremely high dexterity. On to our skill proficiencies then. Now, as we are the face of the party, we want lots of ability. So first of all, we want persuasion, because this affects the prices from vendors. We want performance because we're a bard and not much else makes sense. And then we actually go for insight, because our perception is covered by other characters, and insight is very handy to use when talking to the NPCs in the game. And that's it, we are done. So at this point then, we've got our last 4 characters all needing level ups. Now the first one I'm going to do is Gale, because he's quite hard to do. Being a wizard, he has a ton of spells, so we're going to do him first. Skip that. Right, so we are going to go evocation, and the reason why we go evocation is because of this here, sculpt spells. Create pockets of safety within your evocation spells. Allies automatically succeed their saving throw against these spells and take no damage from them. For the first few levels with Gale, we go evocation. Also, it means that the scrolls, evocation scrolls, receive a discount, and a lot of the damaging spells are evocation spells, which means we can feed him scrolls, he can eat them as an evocation wizard, and it'll cost us a lot less gold. So spell wise here, there's not much to choose from at this low level, so we are just going to look at ones that we might want and aren't really easy to get hold of scroll wise. Going to take Burning Hands, I think. Charm Person, and oh, that's it. Okay, we'll take those 2. We're not going to change our spell setup. We are going to drop Ice Knife here for shield. That helps out with our armor class. So our prepared spells will be Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Chromatic Orb, and Shield. The reason why is, as you can see, Shield gives us an armor class of 5. Mage Armor gives us an armor class of 13, plus Dexterity modifier if we're not wearing armor. Again, like I explained with Wyll, There's so much cloth armor in the game, built for wizards and spellcasters. You don't need to be wearing light armor. We take magic missile because it's got a 100% chance to hit the target at all times, which is quite handy if you need to finish a couple of mobs off that are on low health. Save your fighters trying to hit them. You can just pop magic missile and they'll die. And then the last one, chromatic orb. It says it does thunder damage, but you actually get to choose the type of damage it does before you cast a spell. So you can examine an enemy, find out what it's resistant to or what it's vulnerable to, whack a chromatic orb at it and get that more damage. Whether the thing is resistant to a lot of stuff or it's got a vulnerability, you can choose which way to cast the spell, and it's very, very handy at this slow game. And again, we've got enhanced sleep because it's a ritual spell, and jumping is awesome. Wizard level 3. So again, we get spells, but this time we've got a lot more spells here. So we're going to take Flaming Sphere. This summons a huge ball of fire, which can block line of sight from enemies. It can stop enemies walking into you. And it also has an aura of fire, which means you can burn stuff. The next thing we're going to take is Scorching Ray. It doesn't have a 100% chance to hit like Magic Missile, but it is another multi-hit spell for multiple targets. So we're going to pop that in there. We'll take out Charm Person and we'll put in Flaming Sphere. And we've got one more level to go. And that'll put us up to level 4. Oh, there we go. At level 4 we get another cantrip, and at this point we take Minor Illusion. Spell wise here we take Misty Step and Hold Person. Hold Person, you can hold any humanoid enemy still, they can't move. Attacks from within are critical hits. And Misty Step because quite often Gale will be out of position, so you just need to change where you are to get a decent hit off with a spell. We also get a feat, and here we are taking ability. No, we're not. Sorry, almost got one. We take a Dual Wielder because he works best off dual wielding 2 different staffs or staves depending on your preference. So there we go. We get +1 bonus armor class while wielding a melee weapon in each hand. And we can use 2 weapons at the same time that aren't light but not heavy. And then we get confirmation of our spells here, which is quite cool. At this point we are going to actually take out Shield, because I'd rather use my first level spells to cast damaging spells rather than take less damage. And then we'll slide Misty Step in. You could, if you wanted to, take out Chromatic Orb and leave it in Shield. It's completely your choice whether you want to play offensively or defensively, or whether you're going to have Gale in your party at all. Skip the animation. I'm not actually going to do any more leveling up yet. We're actually going to exit. We're going to switch to the avatar, and we're going to kick Gale out because we don't want him in our party either.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I question the wisdom of that decision, but I'll be here in the meantime.
I love Gale. I love his background. I love his story. I really like the voice actor. I like everything about Gale. Unfortunately, at low level, he just, as a character class, wizards suck. It's that simple. So we're actually going to go and talk to Withers, because we don't want to use Astarion, because all the good stuff we do makes his approval plummet to the death, which means he becomes very nasty and aggressive with us. So we don't want that. Again, you've heard me comment on Wyll, and Shadowheart has this issue with spells, and she can only attack once at the moment per round, which, given what we can do with other characters at this level, is not ideal. So we are actually going to talk to Withers and hire a hireling.
Require a new ally.
Yes, I would like to talk about hirelings.
Very well.
Recruit a hireling.
Choose.
Now there's a weird thing here, because I would love to take on a wood elf, but the wood elf hireling does not come with longbow or bow proficiency because we actually want a druid, and we can't actually get an origin character as a druid until a lot later on. So what I'm actually looking here for is someone that may have proficiency with any sort of ranged weapon. That is better off being a taller character because we don't want reduced movement speed. So unfortunately, we need to switch away from you. You are a tiefling, a human. What are you? Don't know. It's a high elf. Okay, that's a high elf. Proficiency, simple weapons, monster stars. See now, it's got longbow proficiency and short bow as an elf. I'm hoping that comes from elf and not the cleric. It's a light domain, so that's not going to give them. Right, we're actually going to exit here. I know I've got a lot of gold, but we're going to do a quick save after all that leveling up. I want to get a hireling that can actually use the weapons I want it to use.
Very well. Choose.
Right, so I'm just going to check out, because there is a wood elf. Here she is. She's a wood elf. Oh, she's a wood half elf. Okay. Yeah, see, she doesn't get martial weapons. Inspect. So I hate, in the game it doesn't give you what martial weapons are. It sucks. Yeah, see, she doesn't get access. I know she doesn't, because I've got another save where I test all this out. It's called Tabitha. You might have seen it in the load up when I load the game up. But Tabitha is a test character realm, and I've got a lot of gold and a lot of items over there, and I can basically test to my heart's content. And I recruited this one because I've got the wood half elf, which means she's got extra movement because she's part wood elf. But she doesn't have access. She can't use any ranged weapons. And because we're going druid, the class doesn't give you any ranged weapons either, which kind of sucks. That's a Gith. That can't use ranged weapons either. There's a half orc, which can't use ranged weapons. Can't use what's this either. That's a drow. What are you? You're a human. No. You're a half high elf. No, you're not getting them either. That's it. Sorry, shorter people. It looks like we're stuck with this high elf cleric, because the only one that specifically states they can use longbows and short bows. Now, as a druid, we're going to be in the front line a lot of the time, probably shapeshifted, but sometimes we do want a ranged weapon just to help out a little bit. So it's not, if we get knocked out of our shapeshift and there's only one monster left with 1 hit point, we don't want to be shapeshifting again. So it's nice just to be able to have that ranged weapon that can finish them off. We've got that save, so okay, let's pick him up. There he goes, instantly level 4. Then we're going to go and talk to Withers and change the class.
I shall be here in thy camp, as thou do.
There we go. Now I've got the spec over here on my handy little spreadsheet. So we are now going to respec into druid, and I want to check that proficiency is still there. Yep, long bows, short bows. So that must be linked to the high elf part, because he's pure high elf. Well, that's annoying. Alright, can't do anything about it. We're not going to take Shillelagh. We're going to keep Thornwhip because it's handy to have. We're actually going to take Guidance because we've only got Guidance. We'll have Guidance on another character, but the chances are that character was not going to be anywhere near where we need the guidance. So, and Thorn Whip is quite nice for bringing those ranged characters in. Now, stats wise, we're going to go down to 8 here. We want dexterity, not constitution. So there we go. Flip that over there. Put that up to 16. Take our whoops, there it is. Take our charisma down to 8. Should have done that first. That goes there. That goes there. So we've got wisdom of 16, dexterity of 16, constitution of 15, and 2 points left over. Going to put it into intelligence. I'm not worried about the strength stat. The strength stat comes along with our animal form in shapeshift, so we don't want to be putting anything into it at the moment. Skill proficiency wise, we drop nature, we drop animal handling, we go for survival, and something else like arcana, nature, animal handling. No, we might as well pick up medicine because we don't have Gale. Medicine's used in a very couple of skill checks, and it's nice to have someone with it. Boom, there we go. So we've got all our levels. Let's see what gear this person has. We don't want that, send that to camp. We don't want that, send that to camp. We don't want you to have healing potions. Yeah, we'll sort that all out later. We'll split that. Everyone should have one revivification scroll. So, oh! Bum holes. Right. Send that to Karlak. That's useless. Go away. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want those. We don't want those. And that can go to camp. Right, there we go. So multi-select. Actually, no, we do want that. Right. We'll send it to Juliet because we've done right. Equip that. Boom. Have a shield. There we go. We might have a better shield. Need a torch. Well, low on torches. We need torches. Right, there we go. So we're all leveled, ready to level up. So we start with the avatar. No, we won't. There we go. Right, level 2. We take heroism. Heroism makes yourself immune to frighten, gains 5 temporary hit points each turn. Even at this high level, there are things that can make you frightened, so it's nice to have that little skill. Straight into level 3. We take lesser restoration. There it is, because it's nice and handy, and there is a bit coming up where this could be very handy. And for our particular build, we are going College of Swords to get all these lovely moves, half of which we don't use. The main one we'll be using is Slash and Flourish ranged. The important thing to note here, it says attack up to 2 enemies at once. So that's what we're going to be taking. Now, 2-weapon fighting is irrelevant because we're going to be using a 2-handed long weapon, such as a longbow / shortbow. So we're actually going to go dueling here, which means when we are dueling a melee weapon that is not 2-handed or versatile in one hand and no weapon in other, we do an additional 2 damage. Now we don't have shield use yet, because bards can't have shield use. We get enlarged because we're a Duergar, which is awesome. For our skill expertise, which means we get an additional +2 on our skills, we are going to keep persuasion, we're going to drop performance, and go for survival, insight. Sorry, almost said survival, it's actually insight. For those lovely chatty things. Just going to double check there's nothing else handy. Nope, so yep, definitely insight and persuasion. We can always get performance a bit later on. Don't need to replace any spells. That's level 3 done. We'll get a new cantrip here, which at this point will probably take Minor Illusion because it can be handy. We only need one character really with it. As for our spell, we actually take Knock, because there are some locks that we want to open up, and the rogue that we'll have in our party might not be up to the task. We're going to take ability improvement here, and we're going to go straight to dex, which means we've got a dex of 19, but as you can see, it's still only a +4. We'll get it up to 20 later on in the next video, hopefully. Move on to the next character. This is Karlach. Right. So we're going to add class here. If we actually select the game and not the spreadsheet. There we go. We're going to dip 1 level into Rogue. We're going to take Sleight of Hand. We're not worried about stealth. Are we worried about stealth? No, we only get 1 proficiency. So it's definitely going to be Sleight of Hand for all that thieving stuff, lockpicking and disarming of traps, etc. We also then get a skill expertise, which is also going to go into Sleight of Hand. We can't pick up stealth, which is a shame. Just check where the other ones put. No, we're not going to go in there. We're going to take it in perception. Boom. It does mean we're delaying our feat by 1 level, but that's not a problem. We're going to switch back to Barb. We literally, go into Barb. That's it. We literally dip into Rogue just to open up those proficiencies because we don't have another class that can get Rogue, and it's just part of Karlach's build is going to be a Rogue, so we might as well dip 1 level into it now. We're not going to go Wild Heart on this playthrough. We're going to go through Berserker for this one. We are Berserker Thief Rogue when we get that far. Slips into Azel. There we go. Nothing to do at level 2 as a monk, so we'll just accept. Excuse me, game beacon. That's it. There we go. At level 3, we get to choose our class, so we're going to go for Way Open Hand. And we'll get Psionic's Jump as a Githyanki. At level 4, we go all the way to the bottom. And we get Tavern Brawler, which says we get when you make an unarmed attack, blah blah blah, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. We're saying, Garth, you don't have attack roll, you don't have a strength bonus, you've got strength 8. Ha! And I say to you, wait for the gearing. This is why we ended up with a constitution of 15, because Tavern Brawler gives us +1 in strength or con. We take constitution and even it out to 16, giving us that lovely +3 to get those hit points. And Lae'zel is done. We then move into our hireling, whose name I can't remember now. And as a druid, we are pure druid on this one. I've clicked on my spreadsheets and clicked back on the game. There we go. We're going to go for Circle of the Moon for that lovely world shape goodness and get all these lovely world shapes. Absolutely pog. Spells. We delete all of them and we actually go for... I've written it down somewhere. Fairy Fire. Healing Word. Fog Cloud. And Enhanced Leap. We're missing one. Whoops-a-daisy. Probably... It's concentration. We're just going to dip into Ice Knife. I've only written 4 down. Why have I only written 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a bit of a faux pas. Off the cuff. Levelling up. I don't like doing that, but there it is. Skip the animation. Into level 3. Remove that. We get a flaming sphere again because we don't have Gale with us. We take off fog cloud and get pass without trace. It is the concentration, but look at that stealth check bonus. Plus 10 for stealthing. Lovely. Right, level 4. We get some more. Oops, hold on. We get some more wild chips. We get deep Rothay, which is kind of cool. We get to charge and do a lot of damage. And we get Riot Dire Waving, which allows us to blind people. So that's kind of cool. We do get another cantrip here, and I suggest taking either Shillelagh or Resistance. I'm going to take Shillelagh, or how you want to pronounce it. For our ability improvement, much like Lae'zel, we're taking Tavern Brawler. And for exactly the same reason, we're going to go up in Constitution. For our spell, we are dropping Lesser Restoration for Spike Growth. We'll probably actually drop Ice. Do I want Ice Knife or do I want Lesser Resto? Actually, I think we're going to go Lesser Resto. Do we? Or do I want Fog Cloud? No, I'm going to stay with Ice Knife. Right, there we go. So, now we've got our team in our party and we have done all of our level ups, etc. We are going now to look at gear. This is the most difficult part because you want gear for your characters they are proficient with, but also that doesn't impede other classes. This is a bit annoying here because I can't actually see what I'm equipped with right now. So I just have to go through and check. Tooltips on. Close that. Ring of Flinging is going to Karlach. She's going to be actually a thrower. The Safeguard Shield will go to the Druid because they can use it. Where is he? Zenith. There we go. We also get Coriana's Grace going to Zenith as well. Elixirs of Giant Strength we need to split. And then 5 go to Karlach. And hold on. Let's do rejiggy. There we go. 5 then go to Lae'zel, which is why we do not worry about Karlach and Lae'zel's strength, because they'll be using Elixirs of Giant Strength, which puts their strength up to 21. Right, I don't think there's actually anything for here for us. We're pretty much geared out. The Hunting Shortbow goes to Karlach for the buff. The light crossbow. Oh, I've got to remember where everything's going now. Right, the Smuggler's Ring goes to Karlach with her Ring of Flinging. Karlach has the silver pendant as well. The Moondrop pendant goes to our Druid. No, that goes to Lae'zel. Whoopsie daisy. The Gloves of Power go to us. No one's a paladin yet. We don't need that. We picked that up. Oh, can we get access to that? Yeah, right. So we can bind that. And we've got to look for the other bit which we picked up early in the playthrough. Oh, of course it's not showing because it's not in my inventory. Well done, Larian. I personally think that's a mistake. I should be able to access my stash. But never mind, let's combine and make the spear. There we go, that's that done. We'll just update the stash. Right, so I think we're about there to the best of my knowledge without coming here with each individual character. We've got a lot of these things that we need to sort out, but we'll do that on mouse and keyboard when we get to the stash sorting section. We are going to pick up the gold in our character. We're going to look what's in the bags. It should all be, yeah. Where's, oh, I can't send it to camp. I need to pick it up first. Okay, pick that up. Open. That's one we want to keep. Open. Pick up. Open. Pick up. You can see what's happening here. I'm just going to go through, pick up all the supply packs that have gone into the camp supply bags onto my character. And then we're just going to pop them in there. And what we're going to do is split them down, ready for us to use. There you go, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long saves. We don't have to worry about the bags. The rest of the bags, etc., we'll sort out once we've finished gearing people. Right, so we'll just double check that our avatar has got everything that she needs. Yes, we're good. Right, next thing we're going to do is alchemy. Just going to see if there's anything to extract. There is more. Lovely. Switch to solutions. Elixirs. We can make elixir of bloodlust, which is what we want. Go to potions. We don't worry about healing potions. They're not that good. Straight into the potions of greater healing. We then go in here. Open up our pouch and look for the healing potions. We're going to grab all of them. There we go. There's no more. Switch to Karlach, into the character sheet. Now we've got our basic gear here. Going to pick up our bow, which is our stat stick. Excuse me, I apologise. Pick up our ring of flinging. Pick up our smuggler's ring. Pick up our silver pendant, and I can't find the weapon we were supposed to have for her. We should have picked it up. Did I forget? I don't have our weapon. That's very strange. Okay, I'll have to pop into the Druid Grove after this to pick up her weapon, because apparently I forgot to do that. Let me just check my list. Yeah, it's on the list for me to pick up. I'm not sure why I didn't. That's bizarre. I can't see it. I know what I'm looking for. I just can't see it. Tooltips on, please. It should be on by default, but okay. Well, Karlach's pretty much done. The only thing left to do colour her clothing. There we go. She hasn't got a weapon yet, and she hasn't got a torch. Why haven't you got a torch, Karlach? There's one in here. I saw it. There we go. We've got two. Look. And we take a bludgeoning weapon because there are certain things in the game where you need a bludgeoning weapon. It's just easier for Karlach to do it. So we'll pick up the bludgeoning weapon. Bludger weapon. There we go. Right, she is done. No, don't want that. Want that. We're going to equip the Maul at the moment, just so it reminds me that she doesn't have her weapon. Okay, into Lae'zel. Right, I'm just doing a quick save here. I'm going to have a quick stretch and grab some water because my soda's finished. Now, if I was any good at making YouTube videos, then I would probably edit out all the little breaks, but I am not. I'm a casual YouTuber. I do this for fun. So, there we go. Right, let's get our monk sorted out now. We do want a weapon. She should be able to use light crossbows. She can, so we will equip a +1 light crossbow. We don't use melee weapons because we are a monk, so we are looking for gear. We have the haste helm, and we have a simple robe because it's cloth, and monks work better off, when they're not wearing armor. And at the moment, that's the best we can get. That's medium armor. Right, I think that. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, blah blah. Right, there we go. So first thing we do is we go in here, we combine and get that host helm coloured. Boom, done. There she is, all looking good in her green clothing. That's Lae'zel done. Now the last one is the druid. We've got some gear for them already, so we pick up. That actually needs to go to Lae'zel. We equip the special shield. We add that one to wares, and we send it to the avatar. We equip this here because it states you get a +1 bonus to unarmed attack rolls and damage. When we're in our shapeshift forms, we are unarmed. And while the wielder is not wearing any armor, they receive a +2 bonus to saving throws. And we won't be wearing armor because we'll be picking up cloth stuff again. So we got to go all the way over here. There we go. Have a look for some nice cloth armor. There it is. Oh, I picked it up rather than equipping it. Silly person. We're going to just double check. Not proficient with simple crows, so we need a short bow or long bow, and I don't think I was intelligent enough to pick one up. So that's another item that we do need to pick up. Oh, that needs to go to Gale. Scrolls go to Gale. Simple as that. I didn't pick up a bow, which is very silly on me. Nothing else to wear for this character. We've got no amulets, no rings yet. That'll all come a bit later on. Sorry for all the clickings. I'm just making sure. Actually, hold on. Just do that. That's better. Right. Start at the top. Yep, there we go. Right. Did I not equip the armor? I didn't equip the armor. Oh, that's the one Gale wear. No, 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 we don't want that. Add to wares. Send to Juliet. Surely there's another one in here. Surely, yeah, there's 2 more. What colour is this one? That's green. Oh, come on. What have I just done? I don't know. Have we got one that isn't green? Or are they default green? It might be default green, actually. Right. We are going to steal some dye from Wyll. Because Will's got some red dye. There we go. Done. There we go. Right, slip over to Lazelle, quickly put on the amulet. The moon drop amulet, when the wearer is has 50% or less, they don't provoke opportunity attacks. It's just a nice thing to have for the monk, so if we do get that far, we can just move out of the way and wait for the dust to settle, and then the ranged people can nuke them. Right. Now, we're not going to end the day, because that'll proc an event, and I don't want to do that quite yet. Also, we need to sort out a stash, so watch out for a flash screen. We are switching to the dreaded mouse and keyboard. There it goes. Oh God, I remember why I can't do this now, because they've changed the way the game works. Yeah, see, this is the problem. I don't like this. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. It's so small. I can barely see anything. Right, I'll try and get this done. I need to open that. That needs to go here. That needs to go to Karlak. Why can't I send it to anywhere? Why can't I send it to anyone? What have they done? I can't send it anywhere. I can't even pick it up. Oh no. But I can send it from here. How weird is that? God, they really messed this up. Right, the bewildering patch holds all of our quest items, so we're just going to dump all those in there. I do not like this at all. I don't know which idiot had this idea, but my days does it suck. So I've got to put that in a pouch before I can pick it up. I don't get right. I tell you what, I'm stressing. I'm heading towards an autistic meltdown, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I will come back and sort that out after stream. Let's get back to the controller. Oh my god, that's horrible. I might actually sort it out with the controller. It takes longer, but geez, it's easier. Right, we pick up the book. We read the book. No, we can't do that. Okay, close. Right, we need to pick up the stuff. Oh no, no. I'm going to do it. I'll sort out the I'll sort out this stash tab later, because it's stressing me out the way they've changed it all. It's absolutely shockingly shit. I hate it. No, just type. There we go. Alright, I just want to make sure everyone's got stuff now. Your equipment's fine. You need you need that. No. And you need, what do you need? A torch. Didn't I have a torch in the stash? Right. Now I'm going to go around and just catch up with everyone to give a talk.
Sir Gale's been walking around this whole time with some sort of magic bomb in his chest. I'm not normally one to begrudge someone their secrets, but that's something I should know.
We're not going to ask about the artifact. We don't want to do that yet. We don't want to do that yet either. So we'll leave Shadowheart alone. Come down to Astarion. I know Karlak's got a ton to do. Probably pick on her last.
Gale's had this devastating all within himself the entire time, and only just mentioned it. Who'd keep a secret like that from his friends? You can't trust anyone these days. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist. But now, I've been conveniently lost. It's simple. Just in theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, people think the biggest threat to a vampire. The biggest threat to a vampire? So why would any vampire give up control? Trust me, it doesn't happen.
Again, I'm just doing like I did with Gale. There's a lot of chat here. I'm getting through it. Not too fast, but fast enough that you can read it if you slow it down, etc.
Entirely. I was as devoted to my studies. Each creche contains a Zathis. The library was a gift from Vlaakith herself, that we may gain total understanding. Countless scholars roam the astral sea, and the planes are ever quaking, and yet we still collect more. Infinities upon infinities.
Not only that, just asking about them can get you approval rating. If you choose wrong, you can get disapproval, which she's not a fan of, but...
Karlak's fires raged in Baldur's Gate before she escaped to Averna. One of the archdevils, Ariel, she fled from my reach. I can't bear to imagine the lives Karlak might be taking. A powerful friend with a keen interest in... private. All right. Anything more we should discuss? My father once said, so it was for me. I found him in the fields, flanked. I don't remember much of the battle, but I remember drying the boy's tears after. Proud. No. Angry at the monsters preying on innocent. Angry at myself that it took so. The frontiers demanded a blade. And so I heeded. Baldur's Gate, born and raised. He wanted one life for me. A classic drama. A staunch father and his rebellious son. Better heard from the bard's lips than mine. A most vicious one, in fact. It's made from pure bloodstone. But that story is reserved for lifetime friends and calmer days.
How can I help? Ah, yes. Karsus. And he tried. Mistral, she was as Karsus. Aimed. Too late did he realize what he had on. The goddess of magic is all. It was the end of Mistral. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly. For a spell, Mistral was reborn. Now, so many centuries later, I tried to control only a fraction of Gale's folly, one might call it. History. Repetition. It's the way things go. If it should ever come to that, I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun. Or perhaps I will await that death. Alone. I promise I will not betray. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls. I know what it is to hunger. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Alright, that's all the short ones done. Now let's go and clear Karlak of her many, many, many lines of chat.
What can I do you for? The year 10 here. I was a kid looking for a way to fill my... Through the jigs and the... She put this thing in my chest. 10 years of that. Guy named... I guess I was not... Sometimes I'm jealous of that girl. Ugh, to feel... Let's hope Damon is as good as he seems. Once my engine's handled, I can focus on more important... Gives me energy. Power. If I'm excited at all, angry, nervous, delighted, enticed, I burn hot. I try not to think about it. One of these days I'll sort the hot... But not today.
Back in
What can I
again.
do you for?
Just trying to clear as many as we can, because then it clears up the chatter for new chat options, etc.
Depends
So
on the type. Ice devils hate an inferno, but that's an easy one. Orthons love projectiles. What they don't love is getting their bombs lobbed right back in their faces. Demons, on the other hand, every demon is absolutely singular. You can't ever think you've got them typed out. Sharp instincts, sharp weapons, and a knack for improvisation. That's the only way to survive them. Anyway, what were we talking about?
she just gets lost in her story.
Funny you should ask. I was just thinking about what would have become of us without that Nautiloid. I mean, I know where I'd be. Trapped in Avernus still, with the Blade of Frontiers on my tail. Lucky you. Well, you may as well make some good memory.
There we go, and that's us all caught up. Now we do a long rest.
One horn, the stink of Avernus, Advocatus Diaboli.
Well, I'll be God's damned. The Blade of Frontiers. Thought I'd shaken you for good. That'll teach me to underestimate you.
Karlach, the Archdevil Zariel's gladiator, come to burn the Sword Coast to ash.
Well, not counting the fuckers that need a good hurting.
Shut it, devil. I know your kind. A heart darker than a shadow's nightmares. You'd cut a child's throat just to taste the blood.
A devil? I didn't take the blade for a fool. I'm...
A great fire roars through you. The fire of the first hell. You are Karlach, tearing through demons across a blood-red landscape of fire and volcanic cinder. The front lines of the Blood War. With every swing of her axe, Karlach fulfills Mistress Zariel's purpose.
Proof, clear as summer sky. It's over, Karlach. It's time you feel the sting of the blade.
I've tried to tell you. I'm not what you think I am.
Another vision. Karlach's blade rays slicing through devils, Zariel's servants, as her eyes dart around, seeking escape. Wyll shudders with Karlach's desperation. She is a victim of the Blood War, not an agent of it.
By Balduran's helm, No, I will not be tricked.
You saw the truth. I may be an effective soldier, but I never wanted to serve Zariel. Legged it away from her the first chance I got.
And yet you served.
You got options here. You can either choose option 1 or option 2. Long term wise, it doesn't matter. The answers are just different. It's up to you which one you go for. But if you want to play a good thing like I'm doing, then you do need to stay with option 1 or option 2.
No! Devils cannot be trusted!
Again here, 1 or 2.
Would you listen to sense? This doesn't have to end badly for either of us. You know monsters better than anyone. Can't you look in my eyes and see I'm not a devil?
You don't know what this means. You don't know what you're asking me to do.
I'm asking you to live, Wyll. I don't want to hurt you. And to be frank, I'd rather not find out how the blade got his name. I swear to you, on all I am not what you think.
Shit! Shit. You really are no devil, are you? I've been deceived.
Oh, thank the gods. Thought I was gonna have to take your head.
You would have died in the attempt. But there have been enough threats today.
Truce then, eh?
Aye. Truce. I see the good in you, Karlach. I promise not to lose sight of it. Even when the hells burn hottest.
Okay, so we've got a bit more chatter to catch up on. We'll go and do that now.
Glad Wyll saw sense. Even more glad he decided to stick around. Takes a pretty slick mover to track down old Karlach.
Now, if you call up in the top left-hand corner during that, the reason why we went with option 1 or 2, and then again option 1 or 2, is you get approval with every single companion. So it makes up for any little faux pas you've made or any disapprovals you've got. It just brings that back up by quite considerable. 2 on here.
Same. Now,
Right, I'll just go back in just to see
for your thoughts.
see if she's got any other thing. Nope. That's ideally what you want, other than Shadowheart. Shadowheart's got a couple of extra ones that you don't really want to be getting into this early into the game.
It seems like Wyll and Karlach will play nice from now on. Saves us having to pick sides.
So Shadowheart's got 3. We don't ask about the artifact. We don't ask about the other 2 at this stage because she gets a bit upset, and that can cause disapproval. We're going to go up and pick up the bedroll there. We're going to start looting the companions' areas as well. Make about 100 gold from doing this. There we go. Go and speak to Astarion.
Nothing like a little camp drama to spice up the evening. It's almost a pity things ended so amicably. Seeing those 2 duke it out would be fun.
Leave. Search his area. Pick up all this stuff. Allows us just to either barter it and save us some money by bartering, or just to sell it, and that we can get some gold that way. We've also got Karlach's area to search, and I'll steal all her stuff too. Other than her teddy. But be very careful here. I don't want to take her teddy. Go to bed, go to bed. There's a silver spoon. We take that. Leave her with Clive. Got to be careful because it does default back to Clive. Yep, we're still on all of her beer, but if you're feeling any sort of guilty on that, it doesn't actually affect the storyline or their approval rating at all. Don't touch the campfire. We turn that one off. Is it off or on? Don't know. They're off, so leave those off. Okay. Go over to Lae'zel. Catch up with Lae'zel.
Good thing for Wyll that Karlach called a truce. A tiefling that mighty would shred him to pieces and burn the remains. Now, what did you need?
Just looting and chatting, looting and chatting. Oh, I'm turning off candles and stuff. I don't know why. I don't like the lights on. I just turn them off everywhere I go. You've seen it in previous episodes. I've mentioned it a little bit.
You've been witness to a pantomime, I'm sorry to say. And I've played my part all too poorly. It means that a reckoning's one night soon when we make camp. The veil will be lifted. You're not in any danger, I promise.
There we go. Again, we just go back in, just
Well,
make sure it's all clear. That's it. That's what we like to see. If you keep up to date with the companions each time you do a long rest, it's not that hard to do. And it does give you insight into their character, their background, and their overall personal story arc. Stand here and get these few bits. That's an open, so I'll pick that up. Go and turn this one off. Down here and turn this one off. Did I get it? Yep. Right, now talk to Gale.
Thank goodness that's all dealt with. The odds are stacked high enough against us already. No need to turn on each other.
Right. You can steal all Gale's stuff as well. And then we'll be done. More or less. There we go.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Sometimes that'll give an approval rating with Karlach, sometimes it doesn't. I may have already done it, I'm not sure. Can't remember. Don't think so. I think it's the first time we've come back to camp with Karlach being in our group. There we go, but we've given a quick pat. Right, and now we go for a long rest and we pick one of our supply packs. Go for a full rest, make sure everyone's got all their abilities and stuff. Full health, etc, etc. Auto save. There we go. Right. Buff up then. Get out to speak with animals. Boom. Go into Karlach. Sink and elixir. Go into Lae'zel, astral knowledge, wisdom, which gives her proficiency in all of the wisdom stuff. It's the best one to have. And then we also drink a potion. There we go. We don't have anything on the druid to cast or do long term, so we can leave camp. It should put everyone more or less at that waypoint, which is kind of cool. Next thing we do is we give everyone long strider. We've got level 2 now, so we can do it. One cast will cover 2 people. There we go. And do it again. And then we save. Do a level 4 save, but we also do an end of episode save, if I remember what episode we're on. 6. This is episode 6 apparently. Alright. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do another save after I've sorted out the stash inventory, and we'll call it there. End of episode 6. Everyone's respect. We've done all the respecking. I've gone through the builds I've planned. Down in the description, I'll link the build guides I'm using for each character. They may not be exactly as presented in that build guide, but it's just what I've based it on. I might have some certain nuances that I've done myself because that's how I prefer to play. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.